My dear, dear viewers, there comes a time in a person's life when they need to get educated. A time when a person needs to pursue knowledge, not just for the betterment of themselves, but for all of humankind. For it is the only way for all of us as a world to progress and tackle big issues. So stand up and choose your education. There's an array of subjects to choose. Chemistry, logistics, physics, government. All useful fires of knowledge that will propel humanity to its next level. So choose, child, and be great. I chose an Elder Scrolls course. Okay, so let's back up a bit. Yes, this is real. At my university in the Netherlands there's a course called Game Analysis, Games and Cultural Analysis, The Elder Scrolls, which uses the Elder Scrolls as its case study, and you have to study and analyze parts of the Elder Scrolls lore at an actual university for actual university credit. And I passed, so 10th college credit in the bag. So one could say that I am now an official certified Elder Scrolls expert now. So all the other Elder Scrolls YouTubers can move over because I am certified. Nah, but for real, this course is real and I've been following it for the past half academic year and I've been dying to talk about it. But I first wanted to know whether I passed or not, and well, I did, so let's talk about it. So last year a friend of mine found this course deep in the back pages of my university's course catalog, and he said, hey, this might be for you. It's a course, and I quote from the catalog page, this 13-week course is dedicated to exploring the many aspects of one specific game series, The Elder Scrolls Bethesda 1994 till present, in relation to comparable games within the context of the intermediate genre of fantasy. Students will learn to bring key concepts and analytic methods discussed in the first semester, I didn't do any of the first semester stuff, we'll get to that later, and a range of more specific issues and concepts for this genre to bear on the Elder Scrolls games, and learn how to develop this analysis into a critical reflection on the social role of these specific games and the genre of RPG games as a whole within a broader cultural and social context. And then there's this list of things that you're able to do after the course. You can read it if you want, but I've been reading a lot from the course page already. Now, is this course part of my degree or my minor? No, but there's no admission requirements and it's an elective choice subject. So once I saw the course, I was already qualified to get in. And I enrolled with zero expectations. And let me tell you, this course was actually pretty interesting. It was given by this lady, Dr. Hoving. I can show you this picture probably because it's on the university website for all to see, but since she's retiring, I believe, as this was probably her last year, I took all of her contact details. She is a senior university lecturer at the Leiden University Center for Arts in Society and specializes in, among other things, game studies, contemporary studies, diversity and gender and sexuality. Dr. Hoving and I disagreed on, well, a lot of issues, from lore interpretations to some societal issues, but let me tell you, I love to have her as my lecturer. Despite my agreements with her, I could hear in her words her passion for the Elder Scrolls series, especially Morrowind, Daggerfall, and out-of-game Michael Kirkbride lore. As you guys know, I'm not too big of a fan of out-of-game or unofficial lore, so me and Dr. Hoving, we disagreed quite a lot, and we even had a short little discussion in class on some out-of-game stuff. Respectfully, of course. Because again, I'm a fan of hers. We may not agree on everything, but her passion for the Elder Scrolls was evident, and the fact that she even bothered to give this course, well, she has my respect for it. And from everything that she said, it also became evident that she actually played all the games, from Daggerfall to Skyrim. Never asked her about ESO or Arena, but I imagine she gave both of them probably a try. I should have asked that. There's a lot of should-haves in this video, because I'm making this after the course. Anyway, the course consisted out of 13 weeks of 3-hour lectures, and to finish the course there were 3 assessments. A short blog and presentation on a subject chosen from a list, counting for 20% of the total grade, a short final paper which counted for 40%, and a final exam for 40%. Each lecture would start with a student or group of students presenting their blog topics, followed by a lecture by Dr. Hoving, and finally what she called a feet-on-the-table discussion, in which we could discuss the concepts from class in a more casual way. Now, I don't think I can show you the syllabus with the readings for the class in here, considering the copyright of the university and such, and me being a stupid fuck so forgetting to ask Dr. Hoving for permission before the summer break. So yeah, the visuals will remain limited to the public and semi-public pages. So So, the first week we had an introduction on what Elder Scrolls is to the people not in the know, which were surprisingly quite a few of my classmates, because this was a course part of some game development minor. As far as I know, only me and some other guy were the only ones who enrolled simply because we saw Elder Scrolls and we were Elder Scrolls fans. It was mandatory for the rest of class for their minor. Anyway, Dr. Hoving did quite a good job summing everything up. Small issues with her Elder Scrolls lore overview, at least from what I could see, where she mixed up some details about the Riemann and Alessian Empire, among other things, but most of that was just nitpicking and nothing serious. In the next few weeks, we talked about the origin of the fantasy genre, talking about stuff like Lovecraft, the swords and sorcery genre, as it relates to current fantasy, stuff like the Sublime and how Elder Scrolls games carry elements of them. We talked about the different types of fantasy, neo-medievalism, world building, and a lot more. During all this, Dr. Hoving linked everything, or mostly everything, to the Elder Scrolls and showed ways in how the Elder Scrolls contain certain subjects. We spent quite a lot of time on Elder Scrolls creation myths and metaphysical lore and how that's related to real-life occult and religion, like how some elements of Buddhism and Hinduism are present in Elder Scrolls metaphysics. We also talked about the fourth wall, in which Vivek and the Godhead theory obviously played a big part, and we went over the entire story of what happened at Red Mountain, with the whole unreliable narrator aspect to how Indril Nerevar came to his doom. I mean, was he killed by a Dagoth, or was he killed by the Tribunal, or was he betrayed and not killed? All those things. There were so many things that we talked about in this course that it's kinda hard to sum it all up, but in short we talked about horror and anxiety in games, identity and immersion in player characters, about race and culture and gender and what role it plays in video games and how it's treated in the Elder Scrolls universe. We talked about game feel, control and transgression, and finally sexuality in video games and in the Elder Scrolls universe. Pretty interesting stuff for the most part. I can really recommend anyone still looking for choice subjects at Leiden University to roll in, because I just saw that Dr. Hoving is apparently not retiring and still giving the course next year, because literally a few seconds before I started recording this part of the script, I saw that there is actually a 2023 page for the course. So yeah, you may not agree with everything, some things and concepts are taking a bit far here and there, but overall it's pretty good. Anyway, for the blog and presentation you needed to choose and register with one of the weekly themes. Since I was balancing two different university majors at the same time, or bachelors actually, and did the course mostly for shits and giggles, I decided not to burden anyone with my packed schedule, and I did a subject which I could do solo, a subject nobody else wanted: sexuality. I can show you my presentation and blog because I made them, which basically had to answer the question why sexual exploration and sex in general are relatively rare in games. Like, why can we do a lot of things that are not okay in video games, as you can see on the PowerPoint, but consensual sex with my wife Lydia in Skyrim and having agency over that sex is then forbidden. Well, the reason, as I explained, is the ESRB, the people who make the age ratings in the US. If you want to know more, YouTuber Scott the Walls did a pretty good video on it, but in short, if a game goes over the line in sexual content, it gets an AO rating instead of an M rating, so AO means for adults only. Any game with that rating cannot be sold on the Xbox Store, the Nintendo Store, or the PlayStation Store, and most big retail chains in America won't carry it. So that's kind of a kiss of death for any game carrying it, meaning that the game can't be sold. So sex in video games, unlike violence, is mostly absent, as the AO rating comes fast if you try anything with sex. Anyway, I covered how Daggerfall and Arena and Battlespire have nudity in them, and how Daggerfall contained quite some sexual references, and I plugged my own video on sexuality in the Elder Scrolls, because why not? I got a good old 7.4 out of 10 for that one. Then came the final exam. I don't really remember much of it, as we were not allowed to take the exam with us after class, obviously. And it's been quite a while since then, since it's taken a while for the papers to get corrected. I should have written it down, but I remember having to explain Vivek and the Godhead on the exam, among other things, and some stuff on how character creation in the Elder Scrolls can help identify someone with their character. I don't remember exactly. Now that I'm actually narrating it, I also remember having to write something about escapism and how in some types of fantasy we sort of sketch a utopia of the good old days and how it used to be, instead of the whole technologically difficult and complicated world. I had a 7 out of 10 for the exam, so that's pretty good, especially for someone who, again, didn't do the first semester of the courses in that minor, because a lot of it built on that, so I actually had to do quite a lot of studying on the side to get some grasp with some of the concepts. Finally, there was the final paper. I decided to spice things up a bit and don't do it on Elder Scrolls, but rather do it in Cyberpunk 2077. Why? Well, there was this interesting article during the course on why The Witcher 1 had some of the worst sex in video games, like in context. And since my blog had been about sexuality, I just expanded it into Cyberpunk to see whether CD Projekt Red made it better compared to The Witcher 1 when judged by the standards of that article. Again, I would have loved to do something about Elder Scrolls, but we're talking about exam period now. And like I said, I was doing 2 bachelors at the same time. So it was far easier to do this and build upon my blog than do something about Elder Scrolls from the ground up. So yeah. Especially since there isn't a lot of Elder Scrolls stuff to critique when it goes about sex. So yeah. My grade for the paper was a 7.2 out of 10, which was also the final grade for the entire course, so 10 college credits in the bag. Job well done. And so, I learned, I attained knowledge, I was preparing myself for life after university, the real world, and I did by becoming an expert. As dear viewers, it was quite the experience. When you watch my videos now, you have to remember, I am certified. I passed an Elder Scrolls course, so I must be amazing and an expert. Remember that well. Nah, but for real, thanks for watching, and thanks for Dr. Hoving for giving such an awesome course. Again, it wasn't all for me, I didn't agree with everything, but I'm grateful it was there. And with that, the time has come for me to use this newfound greatness to make more lore videos. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.